been thinking about the gambling thing. While I have no moral objections to it, I think it comes down to how much gambling you
Really?
I mean, it's like, if you can't make your way down to Aurora, or you can't make your way up to Elgin, that's kind of a problem. We did never
I guess
sit
I
down.
don't feel like it's fair to
walked in, never said
If Aurora and Elgin and even the Moose has it, why shouldn't?
Your first rodeo?
Except that it gets so diluted that I don't think, based on the statistics, anybody's making much in the way of money.
Well, I don't know. I don't have that information. All I know is what you're looking for. I did know that. Okay, yeah.
Dan, are you on?
From the Hawaii?
If I can have everybody find a
That's
seat.
my hero.
Hawaiian shirt night? I missed it.
Alan's my hero, my fashion hero.
Just don't try to emulate anything else this week.
No.
How do you crawl around under cars, Alan?
Call to order the regular meeting of the Batavia City Council for Monday, August 18th, 2014. Would you all please rise for a brief invocation to be followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Tonight, as the City Council meets in our regular session, we are ever mindful of the many duties and responsibilities that are before us. And I know that each and every member of the City Council is here willing to do what they feel is in the best interest of our community, which is what this is all about. Tonight, as always, we want to remember those from our community who are serving so ably on foreign soil in defense of the liberties of the United States of America in what is turning out to be a very troubled world. We just ask that a special guidance and blessing be showered upon them and along with all those from our country who are serving so ably in defense of our liberties. Also tonight, we want to ask for appreciation for the many activities that take place in our community during the summer season. We are ever mindful of the many races and events that are hosted throughout the town, and we just ask that a special guidance be shown for those in attendance and that safety and proper behavior be the watchword for our community and during any and all of those events. Tonight, as always, we just ask for guidance to each and every member of the council, knowing that at the end of the day, we are here to hopefully produce the very best future that Batavia can have. We ask for all these blessings. Amen. Alderman Stark, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ask the city clerk to please call the roll.
And before I start the roll, just a reminder, Alderman Chanzit, you are absent until we make a motion to allow you to join by telephone. Brown?
Here.
Clark? Here. Atack?
Here.
Stark? Here. Alderman Chanzit is currently absent. Wolf?
Here.
Sparks?
Here.
O'Brien?
Here.
Callahan?
Here.
Homan?
Here.
Sam?
Here.
Vasilian?
Here.
Saron?
Here.
McFadden?
Here.
Let the record reflect that 13 of the 14 elected members of the city council are present and accounted for this evening's meeting. Alderman Sparks, you want to make a motion for Alderman Chancellor to it?
Make a motion, we allow Alderman Chanzit to enter the meeting via phone.
Second?
Moved by Alderman Sparks, second by Alderman Stark for the motion for Alderman Chancellor to attend the meeting by phone. Any discussion? Clerk, call the roll.
Sparks?
Yes.
O'Brien?
Yes.
Callahan?
Yes.
Homan?
Yes.
Sam?
Yes.
Vasilian?
Yes.
Saron?
Aye.
McFadden?
Aye.
Brown?
Aye.
Clark? Atack?
Aye.
Stark?
Aye.
Wolf?
Aye.
Motion's approved, 13 yes, no no's, 1 absent for the moment, but welcome Alderman Chancellor. Are you there?
Yes, thank you very much. This is a reminder to please hit the microphone so I can hear.
Very good, thank you. All right, moving then to item number 4, which are items to be removed, added, or changed on the agenda. Alderman Sparks, do you have anything?
Yes, yes, I do, Your Honor, thank you. We are going to add a 9A to the agenda for BATV awards, and we're adding an item under executive session for probable litigation. With those 2 changes, I make a motion we accept the agenda as revised.
Second.
Moved by Alderman Sparks, second by Alderman Stark for the approval of the items on the agenda as amended. Any discussion? Clerk, call the roll.
Sparks?
Aye.
O'Brien?
Aye.
Callahan?
Aye.
Homan?
Aye.
Sam?
Aye.
Vasilian?
Aye.
Saron?
Aye.
McFadden?
Aye.
Brown?
Aye.
Clark? Atack?
Aye.
Stark?
Aye.
Transit?
Aye.
Wolf?
Aye.
Motion to amend the agenda is approved, 14 yes, no nos, none absent. Moving then to item number 5, which is presentation of the consent agenda. Alderman Sparks, as Chairman of Governmental Services, would you present this, please?
Thank you. I propose we accept and place on file, A, the Joint Committee of the Whole minutes for July 15th, July 22nd, 2014, and July 29th, 2014 as amended. B, the 2014 mid-year financial review. C, the Historic Preservation Commission minutes for July 14th, 2014. D, the July 2014 building report. The approvals of E, August 15th, 2014 payroll in the amount of $713,442.89. F, the accounts payable check register in the amount of $3,583,695.82. G, the city council minutes for July 22nd, 2014. H, approval Main Street's Block Party, August 31st, 2013, for a Class G liquor license for El Casanova, Paljoy's, Gammon Coach House, Fox Bar and Grill, The Range Grill and Tap. I, ordinance 14-45, amending the land use map of the comprehensive plan for the city of Batavia, 525 Western Avenue. J, ordinance 14-46, amending the official zoning map for the city of Batavia, 525 Western Avenue. K, ordinance 14-47, amending the official zoning map for the city of Batavia, 1295 Paramount Parkway. L, ordinance 14-48, amending the official zoning map for the city of Batavia, 1355 South River Street. M, resolution 14-91-R, declaring truck number 204 surplus property and authorizing the sale thereof. N, resolution 14-93-R, authorizing execution of a task order number 6 with Trotter and Associates, Inc. for engineering services for wastewater improvements. O, resolution 14-101-R, approval of task order number 2014-4 with Rempe Sharp and Associates for engineering services on the Maple Lane Water Main Project. P, ordinance 14-44, amending the City of Batavia Employee Handbook. I move that we accept the consent agenda as read.
Second.
Moved by Alderman Sparks, second by Alderman Stark for the approval of the consent agenda as presented. Any discussion? Clerk, call the roll.
Sparks?
Aye.
O'Brien?
Aye.
Callahan?
Aye.
Homan?
Aye.
Sam?
Aye.
Vasilian?
Aye.
Saron?
Aye.
McFadden?
Aye.
Brown?
Aye.
Clark?
Aye.
Atack?
Aye.
Stark?
Aye.
Transit?
Aye.
Wolf?
Aye.
Motion's approved, 14 yes, no nos, none absent. Okay, moving then back to the regular agenda, we'll move to item number 6, which is presentation of a proclamation honoring the 40th anniversary of the Batavia Lions Club. Alderman Sparks, would you read this, please?
Thank you, Your Honor. The proclamation is as follows. Whereas 2014 marks the 40th anniversary of founding of the Batavia Lions Club in 1974, the establishment of a Lions Club chapter was a memorable occasion given the long history of civic support and value community services, which the dedicated membership has constantly provided our citizens in need. And whereas it is fondly remembered that the charter president and longstanding secretary of the Lions Club was beloved local resident Marshall Crane, who provided guidance and leadership in the creation of the Lions Club's mission. Lion Marshall also stood at the forefront of civic causes and needs to ensure that the Lions Club and the greater Batavia community enjoyed a progressive and rewarding future for all residents. And whereas the list of commitments and service activities which Lion Marshall Crane and the club membership embraced included programs aiding the blind, hearing impaired, youth groups, the underprivileged citizens, local schools, area food pantries, suicide prevention efforts, healthy eyesight campaigns, as well as direct action efforts benefiting the Batavia Riverwalk, Valley Sheltered Workshop, Cub Scout Pack 139, Hesed House, the Guide Dog Foundation, Hadley School for the Blind, DARE, Drug Awareness Program, Lazarus House, interfaith food pantry, and the installation of portable defibrillators in Batavia Police Squad cars. Whereas the example of an insightful compassion and understanding first offered by Charter President Marshall Crane set a visionary standard of leadership that has been followed by all subsequent Lion Club presidents over the past 40 years, and thus has been built the proud record of accomplishments that is so strongly describes the Batavia Lions Club today. Now therefore, I, Jeffrey D. Shelkey, Mayor of the City of Batavia, following a vote of the Batavia City Council, do hereby express to the members of the Marshall Crane family and to the members of the Batavia Lions Club our sentiments and appreciation and thanks for the countless acts of kindness and deeds of goodwill which have been showered upon our town over the last 40 years. Signed, Jeffrey D. Shelkey, Mayor. I move we accept the proclamation as read.
Moved by Alderman Sparks, second by Alderman Wolf. Clerk, call the roll.
Sparks?
Aye.
O'Brien?
Aye.
Callahan? Homan?
Aye.
Sam?
Aye.
Vasilian?
Aye.
Saron? McFadden?
Aye.
Brown?
Aye.
Clark?
Aye.
Atak?
Aye.
Stark?
Aye.
Chanzen?
Aye.
Wolf?
Aye.
Proclamation is approved, 14 yes, no nos, none absent. We have with us today representatives of the, may have a whole club here. Do we? So if the gentlemen would come forward. Go forward. And ladies, sorry. John, here's the current president. And we have the Crane family here also. I do. Yeah. Welcome. And so I have a proclamation for the club, and I have a proclamation for Marshall Crane's family. And that's you on behalf of the City Council. Thank each and every one of you for all that has been done here. This has been a 40-year run, which you should all hold your heads very, very high in. And I see a couple of you, I think, have been here for pretty much the entire run of the group here. And so it's remarkable that we have had such a great success in this. And I think it's a proud record of our community, and certainly serves the record of service clubs in our community with certainly a high plateau to seek to kind of meet you, and many of them do, but we are very fortunate and blessed to have the Batavia Lions Club for the last 4 decades serving our community. So would you like to make any comments? Or?
Just want to thank the community and thank you all very much. We'll keep serving. All the people back here? Thank you very much.
Appreciate it. Okay, and then moving to item number 7, which is a special presentation for Mutual Ground by Michelle Meyer. Michelle? Welcome.
Hello, everybody. I am here tonight because I met Alderman Cerrone at a Batavia Chamber mixer. Where are you at? I don't see. Oh, hi. And I mentioned him that I was from Mutual Ground, and he did not know very much about Mutual Ground, surprisingly enough. And as we got to talking, we started thinking, well, I wonder who else in Batavia doesn't know about Mutual Ground. And so I wanted to come out here and thank you for the opportunity of letting me come out here and talk to you all about what Mutual Ground does. I think a lot of times people think Mutual Ground and they think shelter. And we do have a rather large shelter in Aurora. We're situated over by where the old Aurora Police Department was. We have 28 beds and 7 cribs, and it's rarely, actually it's never been empty since I've started working there, which is 13 years ago. In the summer, we're even more full. So when I left the other day, there were 9 women and 18 children in shelter. That, however, is a very small part of what we do. Just to give you an idea, last year we served over 1,500 people total, and only about 205 of them actually stayed in our shelter. The vast majority of what we do is walk-in services. And because we're situated in Aurora, I think a lot of people think that we just work with Aurora residents, and that's not the case. Our service area at Mutual Ground actually covers, it goes from Geneva on down, so the southern portion of Kane County and all of Kendall County. All of our services are completely free and completely confidential, and we work not just in the building that we're in, but we work in the area courthouses with victims of domestic violence and sexual assault that need protective orders. We give them information about their rights under the Illinois Domestic Violence Act. We help with order of protection paperwork. We provide transportation to and from court dates and police departments and lawyer appointments. We have another program that goes to Delnor, Mercy, and Copley hospitals when a victim of domestic violence or sexual assault presents in the emergency rooms. The nurses call us day or night, and we come out and we provide emotional support for that victim, give them information about our services, and basically sometimes it's just a hand to hold and to be there for them during that difficult time. Of course, those are usually the most serious cases, and then those people sometimes need to come into shelter. We also have a prevention education program where last year we did 1,700 prevention education programs in our service area for kids from kindergarten all the way up to high school. We're in all of District 129, all of District 131. We're in Batavia schools, we're in Geneva schools, all of Oswego, some of Plano. And what we're doing is, when they're little, we're doing personal body safety, so nobody touches you under your bikini area, what to scream no, tell a trusted adult. In junior high, we're talking about dating and dating violence, and then sexual assault, sexual harassment. And we're not just doing that for the junior high and high school students. Afterwards, we're providing what's called private room. So the students, after hearing this information, can actually talk to a counselor privately if this is going on in their life, in their home. It's happening with a neighbor, it's happening at school. They can talk to us. We are mandated reporters, so if something's happening in the home, we do report that. Otherwise, we do get them the help that they need. And then that comes into our youth advocate program, where we then will send a youth advocate into the schools to do counseling with those kids if they can't make it to Mutual Ground. We'll go during their gym period or their lunch period and do counseling with them. Again, all these services are completely free. A lot of our services are walk-in services. We have 2 crisis lines that we run 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and people call, and it's not just people that are in crisis. We have neighbors that call and say, my neighbor's going through this, my coworker's going through this, what do I do? I had a area police officer call one time and say, my girlfriend was raped, what do I do? I can't handle this, I can't move forward in this relationship, I don't. Sexual assault it doesn't just happen to the person, it happens to the entire family when it does happen. So our sexual assault program, we have licensed clinical therapists that are doing free counseling with not only the victim of sexual assault, and by victim I mean it could be somebody as little as a little toddler, all the way up to somebody, 50s, 60s, 70s. Some people don't come to us until way later. It may happen in their childhood, and then they decide to deal with it at a later time. We're also doing counseling with their significant others. And again, this is all free. And if any of you have ever had to see a counselor or know of anybody who had to see a counselor, it's not cheap. So we're really happy that we're able to provide this free service. One thing that we're looking to do in the Batavia area is we are partnering with Bethany Lutheran Church. They are giving us, they're leasing us office space in their school building so that we can provide a satellite office and have a counselor there very part-time to start to do some counseling for people in the Geneva and Batavia area that may not want to go all the way to Aurora to get services, and this will be sexual assault and domestic violence. So I need your help to get the word out once we get that going. I'm hoping to have that going mid-September. By the end of September, we're getting the job description ready, getting the lease agreement ready. This is going to be a pilot program. We're going to see how it goes. If we end up getting a lot of people that are coming to get services there, then we're looking at possibly partnering with Bethany on other projects. So I'm kind of excited about that. I'm excited about bringing that service into Batavia. I think it's definitely needed. And, we really just want to get our name out there. We want to get the word out there that we're providing all these services. Because, again, when I meet people at functions and they don't know who we are, it's like, wait a minute, we've been here, we're celebrating our 40th anniversary next year. So we're really excited about that. We just went through a complete rebranding process. We've got a new logo where we're, again, trying to get away from the idea that we're a shelter. Our old tagline was shelter from the storm. Now we're where the healing begins. We wouldn't be able to provide the services that we provide free to the 1,500 to 1,700 clients we see without the help and support of the community. So I have to stand here and thank everybody from Batavia who's helped us out, because we do have a lot of donations coming from Batavia churches, Batavia businesses, and individuals who live in Batavia, and it's really helped us out a lot. One of our biggest fundraisers is coming up. It's called Walk for Hope, and it takes place at Fabian Forest Preserve on October 18th. October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and hopefully, Mayor Shelkey, you can come and say hi to everybody. We usually have Mayor Weisner there, and Mayor Burns comes and say a few words. We get 300 to 400 people that show up at this event. We have food and stuff for the kids. It's one morning of your life. You're raising money for a worthy cause. Last year, we were able to raise over $70,000 with this event. So if you can spread the word, help me out, I'd appreciate it. And I know I don't have a lot of time, so I'm not going to keep going, but if anybody has any questions, I would love to answer them.
Any questions? I would just speak as testimony to what we've just heard. Mutual Ground, I know, has intervened in a couple of situations in Batavia over the years and has really shown their true colors of interest and support for the people that were involved in it. And I can't say enough for what I've seen as far as the positive actions that they are in, and synergies and solutions and alternative ideas that they bring to some very troubling situations on occasion. And their job is never an easy one. Everyone's, I think, is a little bit different. It has a little bit different twist to it, and their ability to adapt and respond to what they find. I mean, you talk about calling a business that arrives when there's a real mess on the table. That's what this group does, and they've many times been able to bring some positive synergies to some very tragic situations that are unfolding in families. And so I appreciate very much what you do, and
Thank you.
You are a real blessing for this region to have working amongst us.
Well, thank you. And I have to give a shout out to the police department too, because they have a really good working relationship with us, and we couldn't do what we do without the first responders and the 911 operators. So thank you to them as well.
Thank you. Alderman Brown, you had a comment?
Question, if somebody wants to get involved in the walkathon, who do they contact?
I
What
have
time is it?
information right here. I will leave information with you all, but I will also leave my card. You can go to our website. Our website is real easy, mutualground.org. And there's, under news and events, our walk. You can sign up. You can, start a page, and you can form a team, and you can have your family walk with you. We have sponsorship opportunities for businesses in the area. We're really looking for partners. We could not do the work without our for-profit partners. It means a lot to us. You get your name in front of 300 to 400 people. You can be on the shirts, advertising, on the banners, and you're showing that you're helping the community in a positive way. So definitely, if you could go to our website. Also, if you could like us on Facebook, we have a pretty big following, and also we use Facebook a lot for when we need certain items. So for instance, if we need diapers a certain size, we'll post that on Facebook, and then thankfully we get just inundated with diapers, which is great. So that's been very helpful. So yeah, and that's mostly where our information comes up, is Facebook. So if anybody's on there, that would be great. So thank you.
Thank you for coming down tonight.
All right, thank you for having me. I appreciate the opportunity.
You're welcome anytime. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Okay, moving then to item number 8, which is a public hearing that we scheduled for 7:35, but as long as I'm past that, I'm told I'm still legal. It's if I start it before that time. So we're going to convene a public hearing for the annexation of property on Harrison Street, Walnut Street, and Main Street. And Scott Buning, did you want to make some opening comments, or?
Yeah, just really briefly, this is a proposed annexation of the rear halves, for the most part, of properties along parts of Main Street and South Harrison Street. One of the things, we have a number of petitions to voluntarily annex that cover 75% of the land and 45% of the property ownership. One of the things that was raised that some people had concerns about was the zoning classification on these properties once they're annexed. Once they're annexed, they automatically are in an R0 default zoning district, but our intention is to go back to the Plan Commission and then the City Council and rezone these properties so that they're in the adjacent zoning district to what the other half of the property is. So all the properties will be rezoned at some point in the near future into those different districts between the LI, the R2, and the R1M district. So that is our intention.
questions on the council's part to Mr. Buny? Alderman Brown, did you want to make any comment?
No, I asked Scott to make a few comments. I want to make sure that everybody understood it correctly. He and his staff have been very involved in getting this done, so I just wanted to make sure that everybody understood exactly what we were doing here, and we're not trying to overtake the city with any forced zoning or anything like that. We're just trying to bring these areas, these pocket areas, up into conformance to what they are.
Very good. Well, this is a public hearing. Does anybody in the audience wish to address the city council tonight on the subject of the annexation of the property on Harrison Walnut and Main Street? I see some folks out there that live there, but they obviously don't have any opposition to what we're trying to do here at the moment, so. All right, Alderman Brown, I'd entertain a motion then to adjourn the public hearing.
I move we adjourn the public hearing.
Second.
Moved by Alderman Brown, second by Alderman Vasilian. Clerk, call the roll.
Brown? Clark? Atack?
Aye.
Stark?
Aye.
Chanzit? Wolf?
Aye.
Sparks?
Aye.
O'Brien? Callahan? Homan? Sam?
Aye.
Vasilian?
Aye.
Saron? McFadden?
Aye. Public hearing's adjourned. Thank everybody. Scott, this will be coming, what's the next step here on this, just for the folks in the audience?
This is later on your agenda tonight for the formal annexation.
Okay. So if anybody wants to stay around, we're going to do the further on the agenda here for the annexation on ordinance 14-49. Okay, moving then to, again, actions of the consent agenda. The first thing we had scheduled up was BATV awards. Mr. Dillenberg, did you want to make some comments?
Yes, please. Good evening, Mayor Schelke and Alderman. My name is Jim Dillenberg, and I'm the Director of Operations for BATV. And I have 3 awards here that I'd like to hand out tonight. The first one is to Holly Deachman, who was the station manager before I took over, and she's really did a tremendous job getting us to where we are today. And the award says, BATV would like to recognize Holly Deachman for her years of service with the station from 2008 to 2014. Your commitment to the success of this station will not be forgotten. And the second award is to John Benditz. John. This one, John left us in December, and the award says BATV would like to recognize John Benditz for his years of service with the station from 2007 to 2013. Your commitment to the success of the station will not be forgotten. And the final one I have is for our Volunteer of the Year from 2013, which is Ralph Gibas. The award says BATV would like to recognize Ralph Gibas as the Volunteer of the Year for 2013. Thank you for your hard work and commitment to the success of this station. The only other thing I would like to say is a week from Friday is our first home football game, and we'd like all of you to come out to the game to watch it. If you can't watch it in live, you can see us on mybatv.com or on Channel 17 through Comcast or Channel 99 on AT&T UVerse. So, but we hope you all come out and see us. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, moving then to item 9, which is matters from the public, and I am asked by Mr. Joe Marconi if he would like to speak, and we'll let anybody else that wants to speak too. Mr. Marconi, could you?
Yes, I'd like
You want to get Joe the mic? Could somebody get Joe the mic?
Tomorrow, our attorney, Michael Childress, will be filing a lawsuit in Kane County Circuit Court and we're suing the following people: Indianapolis Municipal, Power Agency, IMCA Services Corporation, Rojo Row, and Sargent and London LLC. But anyway, watch the newspapers and it'll give you all the information that what's going to happen. I also want to tell you that we have distributed 1,140 pieces of the big meeting that we're going to have at Thursday on the 21st at 6:30 at the library. We're going to inform the public exactly what's happening. And so I hope that all of you, I put one of these community meetings in each and every one of your slots. So please be there and be attentive, because I want to tell you something. Everybody that I've given one of these to, I just thank you so much that we're doing something about the high electricity rates and the taxes in this city. Thank you very much.
Does anybody, we have other people, I think, that want to address the city council. If they would come forward, this is for items not on the agenda. I know there's a couple other people who want to talk about stuff on the agenda, but does anybody want to talk about anything that's not on the agenda? Okay. All right, moving then to item number 10, which is the Main Street report. We have somebody here from Main Street? Okay. Moving then to item number 11, which is ordinance 14-40, video gaming. Alderman Sparks, do you have this?
Yes, I do. We had an organization come to the council to try to have us repeal the ordinance we have against video gaming in town. There was a lot of discussion at the JCAL meeting on 8/5. It ended up going through a vote of 4 to 6 as a failed vote, 6 against, 4 for it. I don't know what else I can say. Does anybody have any comments on it?
Anybody on the council? Alderman Brown?
I'll make a comment. I feel as though this is probably going to go down in flying flames, and I'm fine with that, although I am going to support it. And the reason why I'm going to support it is because although I respect everything that everybody has said and, you know, what the churches, the representatives from the churches have said, and I certainly understand their concerns, I kind of look at it as a statewide issue, and it is something that the state has recognized and does allow throughout the state. The only difference is with this law is they've given the municipalities the opportunity to opt out of it. I go back, and I've said this before, I go back to when, before the smoking ban was put in place by the state, there was some talk about the city prohibiting that within the city limits. And we heard a lot from the local residents or from the local establishments we have in town, whether they be restaurants or bars, what have you, that it would hurt their business, that would be unfair, that they felt as though that they would lose some business from their establishment because people would simply just go to an establishment, say in Geneva or St. Charles or North Aurora or where have you. So at that time, the city council decided that something like that needed to be a statewide, a broader issue. It couldn't be just something localized. So I feel as though this is a very similar situation where it should be a statewide issue, not a local issue. I know some people think that it's good that it can be a local issue. I don't. An observation that I've made in the last week, just we're last couple weeks walking around and such, is I thought, you know, it's our duty here as aldermen not only to listen to what our constituents and our residents have got to say throughout the entire city, not just our ward, but it's also our duty to do the research and do the work that they don't have the time to do. That's why they elected us. They elected us to do the work that they don't have the time to do. We are to be responsible and research the stuff that, the items that are in front of us, and then make the decision based on that. they're busy people. That's why we're here. So I went out and I visited many of these different establishments that offer this type of entertainment, and I'll call it entertainment. I went to bars where they have video gambling machines. I went to video cafes where they have just video gambling machines. They serve coffee, they serve tea, they serve champagne, they serve beer. You know, it was really interesting what I heard, and I didn't hear anything negative. So the other observation I have is it gambling or is it entertainment? Because you have to be 21 years old to play one of these, to use one of these video gambling machines, and you have that opportunity to make that decision whether or not you want to do it. Where the observation I'm going to make is we have a Chuck E. Cheese in town, and we have other entertainment facilities in town, where as children, we're not even given the opportunity to make a choice. Our parents take us there. Everyone here has probably taken their child to a Chuck E. Cheese or something similar. And as kids, you're not even given the opportunity to make that choice, whether or not you participate in that type of entertainment. Your parents stick $1 in the machine, and you push the buttons. Tickets come out, and is that entertainment or is that gambling? So, you know, we're concerned about what our over 21 of age people do, yet we're not going to allow them to make their own choice. We're going to educate our children on how to have fun entertainment or gambling. I'm not sure what you want to call it. It's just an observation. So for those reasons, I'm going to support it. I'm not going to try to persuade anyone else on the council to or not to support it. It's just those are the reasons why I'm going to support it. Thank you.
Conversation from the council. Alderman Callahan.
I absolutely agree with everything you had just said about in your logic behind it. My only hang-up that I had about it was for it to be a state issue, I wish they would have pulled it out and made it a state issue instead of keeping it under local control, thereby giving when it is in local control, you've got to do what the community wants is for it to be under local control. And I was all for supporting it. I didn't have a problem with it. I'm along the lines with you with entertainment, but it came back to me as, do the people in this town want it for whatever their reason? And the majority of the opinion that I got back was no. But absolutely valid points that you made were the reason that I struggled with this one so mightily. So I appreciate your thought, but I'm going the opposite way of, had the state really wanted to make this a state issue, they had the opportunity to do so. They kind of punted it in our laps.
Alderman McFadden.
Yeah, I also am not in favor of this, and my reasoning is, you know, looking at Batavia, the type of town it is, I thought it was a good idea when the city banned it the first time. I thought that made sense, and you know, even going back to when the state enacted it, I didn't support that for a variety of reasons, and none of them had to do with, you know, whether you should be able to gamble or not be able to gamble. People can gamble if you want to. But here in town, I look at the types of businesses that I feel like we're opening a Pandora's box to some types of businesses that may not be in the long-term best interest of the city of Batavia. And I think just the fact of having gaming machines in lots of places in town is out of character with the type of community we're trying to build. I mean, I don't think it is exactly in line with what we're hoping to do. But my biggest problem with it is I can't look and I can't point to something and say, you know, if we put gaming machines in town, it's going to make Batavia a better place. It's not going to, I can't say it's going to make it a more attractive place for people to move. They're going to look and say, oh, gaming's legal there, I'm going to move there. Outside a very small segment of businesses, I can't see it making a Batavia a more attractive place for businesses. But there's, there's plenty of potential downsides into what's coming in. So from like the dollars going into the machines are not, it's not new money. That's money that's coming from somewhere else. And if it's entertainment money, then it's coming from other entertainment options in town. Maybe it's coming out of the movie theater. If it's dining money, maybe it's coming from a restaurant that doesn't have a liquor license and can't have video gaming machines. And so we're just sort of shifting dollars around from one venue to another. So I can't point to anything that says having this in town makes Batavia a better place. And for that reason, I won't support it.
Just another note on this. The police department did do a survey of local towns that do allow this, and I believe they found that crime was not increased, or nobody really had any problems with the video gaming in the establishments. I myself agree more with what Alderman Brown said. I think the businesses should be able to do what they can do to, make money. With that said, I will vote for it.
Anybody else in the council? Alderman Wolf?
I just feel, and I felt this all the way through this, it's a personal choice, just like tattoo parlor. If you want one, you can go in and get it. If you don't want to go in, you don't have to. Just like going into a bar and drinking. You can go in there, you can drink if you want to. So I believe it's a choice that has to be made personally, and I don't think we need to get any deeper than the state got into it. Just, if they want to do it and the business thinks it's right for their business, they can make that choice. And then their patrons will make the decision for them, whether or not it was a good choice or not.
Anybody else? Alderman Vasilian?
I went into the early discussions on this being completely in favor of it. I don't have any moral or religious opposition to it. But what happened for me is when I similar to Alderman Callahan, when I talked to other people about it, I got very little response. Virtually nobody saying we'd really like to see this happen. That the only people I heard from were people that were against it. And you know how sometimes when we address issues, sometimes we're voting based on our own individual preferences, and sometimes it's the preferences of your constituents, and being that I don't have a strong feeling either way, the only feedback I got was negative, so that's why, even though I agree with everything you've said, I'm going to vote against it.
Other comments in the council? Alderman O'Brien?
I don't think this is at all a moral issue. I think it is a personal issue, it's personal preference. If somebody has an issue with it, or not an issue, but if they have an addiction towards it, that's an illness, as is alcoholism or anything else. So I think it is a personal choice issue. I don't see people coming to Batavia to gamble. I think all it does is it allows some of the businesses in town an opportunity to offer just a little more entertainment to the people who frequent their businesses. Primarily, the only one who's come forward so far has been the VFW, and I think what they're asking for is our help to keep them afloat. Just to help them, generate some more revenue and dollars for their club, their association. So I would support it just to support our VFW, if anything. I don't think I hear a lot of people come forward saying that it's a moral issue. I just cannot abide by that. I don't believe it is. I've spoken to some people, and I myself, I'm not at all a gambler. I couldn't care either way. And most people that I've spoken to really have no input in it. As you said, Steve, they just say, well, it never mattered to them. They don't even think of it. So it's all we're doing is giving some local establishment an opportunity to generate some more income. And I don't see people coming to like the police chief said, it was non-detrimental to any businesses. I don't see it being detrimental to Batavia. I see it just as a form of entertainment and just another tool in the toolbox for the local business.
Other comments? I certainly have had my comments echoed in the newspaper about this rather recently, and I just want to clear the air and let everybody understand why I have some reservations about this at the moment. When this whole idea was originally put forth, the members, representatives of the state government came before the Metropolitan Mayor's Caucus, of which I'm a past chairman, and which all the mayors in the area are members, and made some presentations about this. And the one presentation that we were given was the fact that the state of Illinois at the time was allegedly in the position that they were developing a technological backbone which was going to be put into place and was going to allow them to monitor all the machines in the state of Illinois on a moment-by-moment basis. As far as I know, that is not yet in place. I am led to believe that that is not in place by the state of Illinois. Secondly, the concern I have is that the State General Assembly had a recent meeting of the Joint Committee of Administrative Review in which they were talking about the whole video poker issue. And one of the things that came out, again, in the representation that was made by the state of Illinois when this idea was put on the street, was that we were going to have a very extensive background check into all the prospective licensee applicants and who they were and who they were associated with and what their history was and whatever have you. I guess that's all well and good, but the State Department, or the JCAR, when they met several weeks ago, made a decision that they had investigated this situation, and they found some people who are not capable of meeting the test of this thing, but they made the decision not to release their names. So we don't know who we're dealing with. So until the state of Illinois gets this thing, in my view, in a better situation, I really can't support this. I mean, I think we're running this thing by winging a prayer, and I don't know where we're going with it from a state perspective, and I'm very uncomfortable with this thing, the way the state of Illinois is currently handling this. We have some people in the audience that wish to address us. Would you come up and give us your name and address, please, for the clerk?
My name is Louise Bourret, and I represent Gold Rush Games. We're in Glendale Heights. Our company's been around for 30 years in the money business and is a very reputable company. What the mayor is speaking of here is, yes, and I will agree that when this all first started with the state of Illinois, there were a lot of entertainment companies. Entertainment companies meaning the ones that took care of the pool tables, the dots, the darts, and all of that. And now these particular people here also handled the gray gaming, which was against the law. Now, some of these entertainment companies ended up signing the establishments for 5 years, 10 years, and were not allowed to be operators. There are only 67 operators in Illinois that actually have a license and is licensed with the state of Illinois to be able to bring in these machines. And also, to be an operator, these machines are expensive. They're run between $15,000 to $35,000 a piece. So to be an operator, you also have to have the money behind you and be respectful with it. What has happened with these so-called, what they were calling themselves operators, were not able to buy machines, had their license have been dismissed, and this is all in the IGB site. I mean, anyone can go onto the site and see exactly what each community is making and what each bars are making off of these machines. And it is a revenue. It is a revenue for the establishments. And it is also a revenue for the community. And it is not set into every establishment. Operators, companies, good companies, well, the 67 of them, are not going to sit there and put machines in establishments that we know is not going to work for them or work for us. We're not here to bring monsters into the municipality or the town. It's entertainment. It really is. I mean, these machines are $2 bets, you know, and they're fun. I mean, like it was said, if you're addicted to something, well, you're not going to go play with these machines. You're actually going to go to the boats, and you're going to sit there for hours and hours and hours and hours. In these restaurants, like Aliano's, because that's who I represent, as well as Open Range, these owners are looking to do something really nice with this, not to make this to be a dump place, but something nice. And their clientele have been asking about it. And so I'm asking to allow some of these establishments to be able to do this, because it is, I mean, I have numbers, and anybody can go on the IGB site and find out exactly what North Aurora is making for the municipality, or even Aurora is making for the municipality, or South Elgin, or Elburn, Sugar Grove, any of these. I mean, I can tell you numbers now if you would like to, but there is money that the municipality does get at the same time too. I also live here in Batavia. You know, my kids went to high school here and grammar school. I mean, now they're in college, you know. But I just don't see it to be an ugly thing to bring something like that and help the establishments make some money. Because, like I said, I've been here for 14 years, and in the last 8 years, my property taxes have literally doubled. And if there's a way to help, I mean, maybe that has nothing to do with property value, but if we can help these establishments bring in more entertainment, because there is entertainment. I mean, Aliano's has music, Open Range has music, Pal Joey does music, and if anyone really see that the entertainment is not as it used to be either, because everything costs. So if there's a way to bring more money to help them, why not? And as far as the new venue, the cafes, I don't know if you had a chance to go in these. These were actually set up for women. Women love to gamble. I mean, not to gamble. I mean, yeah, I guess you could say gamble. Entertainment, whatever you want to call it. They're fun. They really are. I mean, and women don't want to go into a bar, a slummy place, you know, where it smells like booze. They like to go and have those little half bottles of wines or teas, you know, and coffees, and just sit there and play the machines. But people don't sit there for hours on these machines. They're not there for that. They're just there for the fun of it, for you to just go and put that $2 in there and then click a few times and just see those little things going around, you know, and see what you're getting. And it's fun. It's excitement, you know. And it's not something that it is not the person that is addicted to gambling who will be going to these places. So I'm asking if you guys can kind of look at this again and give these guys a chance. Now, like anything else, you know, machines can always be removed, you know, and if we see fit that this is not working for the establishment, then there's no reason to even, you know, do this. But I really believe, looking at the numbers that some of these places are doing, I mean, in just North Aurora, which is like a hop and a skip, and are using our Batavia schools, less taxes and property, and they're getting money. The little town is getting $26,000, you know, for just from January to July. That would be nice for our municipality to have. We could do more things with that. I'm just, you know, just think about it. We're not going to make monsters out of anything here, you know. I mean, you drink, you drink. You're addicted to drinking, you're addicted to drinking. You're addicted to smoking, you're addicted to smoking, you know. So it's a moral thing, and this is more for entertainment and fun. That's how I see it. That's a lot of people see it that way too. So I hope you guys see it that way too. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Would you give us your name and address for the clerk, please?
Michael Rosici, 346 North Van Nordwyck Avenue, Batavia. I'm the rector of Calvary Episcopal Church in Batavia, the convener of the Batavia Ministerial Association. I've been privileged to address the Joint Committee of the Whole on 2 occasions previous to this evening. I want to repeat the opposition of the members of the Batavia Ministerial Association to the proposed repeal of the ban on video gambling. With great respect for the VFW and their charitable work on behalf of many, many veterans who have risked all to protect the freedoms that allow us to have this forum and form of government, we must still disagree with their petition. Granting their request will lead to video gambling in many more establishments, which we just heard. As was pointed out to us by various other speakers on these 2 previous occasions and by the mayor himself, any establishment with a liquor license will be able to obtain a license for the machines, which will give our town's restaurants, bars, and possibly other venues a different and less savory character than they now enjoy. It is often said that the churches should not try to impose their morality on the community in which they reside. We are not imposing anything. We are merely pointing out that more than likely negative effect on the quality of life in this community. And it should be borne in mind that churches or any religious organizations have the same right to voice their opinions as any other group with a stake in the welfare of the community. And governments impose morality all the time. Think of slavery, once the law of the land. Think of the separate but equal laws that existed in so many places. Also remember the blue laws in some communities that forbade businesses from being open on Sundays, or the laws that govern the sale of liquor on a Sunday, or the ordinances that keep auto dealers closed on Sundays. Sometimes laws favor what religious institutions stand for, sometimes not. And what is legal is not necessarily moral, as Pastor Hallam pointed out to us in the meeting on August 5th. So we ask that you would please maintain the ban for the myriad reasons that were given in the previous JCOW meetings, and for reasons given at least by a couple of our aldermen again this evening, by the mayor, and various community members and other interested parties from outside Batavia. Thank you.
Reverend, would you give us your name and address for the clerk, please?
Yes. Reverend Rolla Swanson, 1623 Richter Drive, one of the representatives of the Batavia Ministerial Association. I have no ill will toward anyone who takes a different position from mine on this particular issue. I urge the City Council to maintain the ban on video gambling for 2 reasons, among others. First of all, video gambling is highly addictive because of the speed at which it is played. For this reason, it is often called the crack cocaine of the gambling enterprise. Money that a family needs for food and shelter may end up paying for a problem gambler's addiction. My second reason for maintaining the ban is the family-friendly atmosphere we are trying to create here in Batavia. If the ban is lifted, chances are that many bars and restaurants with liquor licenses would apply for video gambling permits. This type of gambling seems to be an epidemic in some towns and cities in Illinois. According to the Illinois Church Action on Alcohol and Addiction Problems, a town in the western part of the state is a case in point. A man in that area wants to buy a laundromat if he can get permission to sell food and alcohol. Then he'll apply for a video gambling permit. So if the City Council approves this, a laundromat where children are often present may end up with video gambling machines. We don't want something like this in Batavia, which puts so much emphasis on children and youth as part of the theme of children and youth of our community. So for the above reasons, I urge you to maintain the ban like our neighbors to the north, St. Charles and Geneva. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Hello, I'm Holly Deachman. I'm the Executive Director of the Batavia Chamber of Commerce located at 106 West Wilson Street. I'm just here to share with you some facts. This is not board-approved opinion or any position from the Chamber. I have received 3 inquiries from local businesses that would like to encourage that you lift the ban on video gambling here in Batavia, and I've received 0 complaints about the possibility.
Alderman Sparks, have you made the motion?
No, I will now. I move we pass ordinance 14-40 revising Title III, Chapter 3, the Batavian Municipal Code regarding video gambling.
Second.
Moved by Alderman Sparks, second by Alderman Wolf for the approval of ordinance 14-40, video gaming for the city of Batavia. For any further discussion? Clerk, call the roll.
Sparks?
Aye.
O'Brien?
Aye.
Callahan?
No.
Homan?
No.
Sam?
No.
Vasilian?
No.
Saron?
No.
McFadden?
No.
Brown?
Aye.
Clark? Atack?
Aye.
Stark?
No.
Jansit? Wolf?
Aye.
I'm counting them again just to make sure, because we got 6 yes and 8 no's.
Motion's defeated, 8 no, 6 yes. All right, moving then to item number 12, which is ordinance 14-41, grant a variance for Speedway Fuel and Retail at 1495 East Wilson Street. Alderman Brown is CDC Chairman. Do you have this?
I do, Your Honor, thank you. This is the northeast corner of Wilson and Kirk Road. There's a piece of property there that the Batavia has possession of. We put it up for sale. We were approached by the Speedway Corporation. They've been working with staff for quite some time now, a little over a year, and they're presenting to us here tonight this request for variances for ordinance 1441. There were quite a few ordinances. I think there were 11 variances. Am I correct with that? Yeah, there were 11. Plan Commission didn't have a problem with any of them except there were 2 that they had a problem with. The 2 that they had a problem with were discussed at length at JCOW. One was for some signs on the side of the building, and the other one was for some outdoor storage for items that they wanted to be able to sell at certain times of the year, mostly things like mulch, so on and so forth, that you can see at a lot of the Speedway stations. JCOW didn't have a problem with the idea of the signs on the building. We thought as though that was going to be very vital for their business to be able to advertise what it was that they had inside there that they were going to be trying to sell. Speedway talked an awful lot in front of JCOW about how a lot of their business is to try to provide items such as, small groceries, bread, donuts, pop, things like that, and they wanted to be able to advertise that those signs are very vital to their business. So JCOW didn't have a problem with that variance request. They did uphold zoning board's findings on the landscape or the sale of the items to be parked outside. Since then, Speedway has worked with staff, and they don't require that variance any longer anyway, so that has been taken out of this ordinance tonight. There was one person that spoke at the JCOW against this. I believe he's here tonight. He may want to speak. I don't know. I didn't get a chance to talk to him before the meeting. Some of the items that he addressed were he lives directly kitty corner from there, and he's very concerned over the added traffic, I'm sure the noise, the lights, the activity, and that this project would be detrimental to the neighborhood feel. I sympathize with them, and I feel as though that our staff has done a good job, along with Plan Commission, in trying to make sure that there won't be any overflow of lighting, and with the elevations of the way the thing is being all set up, it's keeping down, the type of activity that'll be real noticeable to the neighborhood. I have to say that I don't really feel as though the intersection of Kirk Road and Wilson Street is what I would call a neighborhood. Certainly to him it is. That's his home, that's where he lives, and his neighbors are his neighbors. But I do feel as though Kirk Road and Wilson Street is more of an industrial type area than neighborhood. So we tried to be gentle and work with both to make both kind of fit together. JCOW passed this on to City Council with a positive recommendation. I don't think there's anything else I need to mention. There was some conversation at JCOW about the possibility of a sign to be put up by Speedway, some type of a signage saying City of Batavia or some notification of that type. back when Altamano first came into Batavia to work with us on the streetscape, they noticed that that was something that was really lacking out on the Kirk Road corridor. As you go down Kirk Road, you don't even know where Batavia is. You're just flying down Kirk Road. So their idea at that time was, some type of a wayfinding sign or some type of identification saying, here you are in Batavia. So I thought it would be a good time to take advantage of that idea, and we should try to make some type of a statement out there that says, here we are in Batavia. And at the JCOW, I had thrown out that back when the Wicks Furniture building was put up, that developer contributed $15,000 for the use of a windmill to be placed somewhere in the city of Batavia. I was wrong with that. They did contribute the $15,000, but it was earmarked to be used on the Renner Road corridor. So we can't use that $15,000 for that location, but staff did work with Speedway, and they're going to set aside a 10-foot by 10-foot area as an easement that the windmill can be placed if we put a windmill up there. They've set aside $3,000, or they will set aside $3,000 as seed money to assist us with the location of a windmill should we decide to put one up. This isn't something that we have to do today, but the ability for us to do this has now been set in place should we decide to do it in the future. I would like to see us pursue that. It would be, get the appropriate people involved to find the right windmill to put there, and the sooner the better. It'd be great if we could get one put up at the time the station's going up so everything can be landscaped nice and done properly. But that's something that staff will have the authority to work with Speedway on. I don't think I have anything else that I need to throw in. I will make a motion to approve ordinance 1441, and then if there's anybody from the audience, they'll certainly have the opportunity to speak about it.
Second.
Moved by Alderman Brown, second by Alderman Wolf for the approval of ordinance 1441. Mr. Brichter is in the audience, and he has asked for an opportunity to address the council. So, Steve, if you'd come forward and give us your name and address for the clerk, please.
I'm Steve Brichter, and I live at 10 Woodland Hills Road, and basically, on the pictures that they put up, you see my backyard. So that's how close I am to this. And we are not an industrial area. I'm sorry, but there is no way. We are a residential area, okay? In fact, there's a residential area across the street, which is a higher density residential area, but it is a residential area totally. The entire area north of the tracks, no, south of the tracks, get confused. South of the tracks in our area is a residential area. Yes, there's a business up a little ways on the east side. And yes, there are a couple down a little ways on the west side. But where we are a residential area, and we always have been. I was thinking the other night actually the other afternoon when I was mowing the lawn where my parents lived, that I've mowed the lawn for about 50 years. And when we moved there, it was country. It was not anything. And so everything that has encroached on that area, okay, it is not a good thing. I know that some of you heard me speak before at the JCOW, is that what it's called? Yep. Meeting? Okay. But I know that there are a number of you that did not. So I wanted to talk to you for a few moments as to why I think this would not be a good choice for a gas station, Speedway, for example. It might be a better location for a business, for an office that would provide jobs for Batavia and would probably close up around dinner time and it would maintain the residential character of the community. That would be a good use for that location. The most logical location for this or any gas station, and I encourage the Speedway people to think about this, would be in the high traffic area at the corner of Kirk and Fabian Parkway. This corner is probably the busiest in the area, and Speedway could make more money at that location with more space and increased truck and car traffic. Thinking in small amounts of income is not as profitable for your shareholders as thinking big, as in the corner of Kirk and Fabian, which would make you marketable to Batavia, Geneva, and West Chicago drivers. There'd be less competition from the new Thornton gas station not far south on Kirk. There's no danger to children as pedestrians at Kirk and Fabian. In fact, if Speedway's not interested in a better corner than Wilson and Kirk, it makes you wonder why. Speedway could be a big success at the corner of Fabian and Kirk, and that location would actually benefit Speedway, their shareholders, and the city of Batavia. And while Speedway might be welcomed elsewhere, like in the business area at the corner of Kirk and Fabian, here's why Kirk and Wilson is not a good location for a gas station. Please consider with me a couple of possible and real problems. My first concern is for the people who will be negatively impacted by the location of this gas station. I want each of you to take a moment and imagine that you're an elementary school child, and you live across from Speedway, and you know they have drinks and food for you there. Mom and Dad don't happen to be around at the moment, and you're a typical child hanging out with your friends, and you're hungry and impatient. And you think in your elementary mind, well, you can make it. So you begin to run across Kirk Road to get the treats you want. And suddenly there's more traffic than you expected. This is a very possible problem. Even if you put in improved signals, there will be children who run with their friends to buy something at Speedway without regard for the signals. A new crosswalk is a nice idea, but a traffic signal will not stop children from darting across Kirk Road to go to Speedway. And you need to think about that. Unfortunately, the corner of Kirk and Wilson is a very dangerous corner. If you come at it from the north going south, you come up a hill to the corner. Can't see very well from that. And if you come at it from the south going north, you come up a hill about a block away. You can't see over the hill either. This is not a good corner for a location for some sort of a business with high traffic. This is a dangerous intersection. You can't turn right on red at the corner because it is considered dangerous. Likewise, adults on foot who cross Kirk Road to get liquor and groceries will be walking through a very dangerous area, but the kids are the ones I'm most worried about. Here's my second concern. I want you to also please do a little imagining here. Imagine, if you will, that you live in a residential area in Batavia, where you live now, perhaps. And a large corporation is planning a 24-hour gas station adjacent to your home. When you moved to your neighborhood, there was no indication that a gas station was possible near your home. Now, unless you members of the city council stop this change, your residential life is encroached on by a 24-hour business that increases truck traffic and all traffic in your neighborhood. And we are a residential neighborhood. My second concern about the possible usage of this property has to do with changing the residential character of the area. This property is adjoining two residential neighborhoods. We do not want a 24-hour-a-day business with its lights, noise, pollution, and increased traffic in our area where we live and have our families. Please notice, by the way, that the gas stations on Route 31 close by 10 p.m. or earlier. They're also adjoining a residential neighborhood, but they work to be good neighbors to the homes and the people nearby. Will Speedway be a good neighbor and close by 10 p.m. and not open till 6 a.m.? One person from Speedway told me they will operate 24 hours a day. I would like to see, as a part of the compromise, if they are to occupy that corner, that you aldermen tell them that they must close from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. The people who live in the area deserve better and deserve a good neighbor who cares about the residential character of our neighborhoods. Other considerations. The Speedway people said in the meeting that their lights won't be a problem. What happens if they are? Will you guys stop them from being able to operate as a business because they didn't do what they said they'd do? Or will it just be what it is? I don't know. Finally, please let me be clear, I have nothing against Speedway in general. In fact, I got gas at a Speedway station recently. What I feel is that the corner of Kirk and Wilson is an inappropriate and dangerous location for their gas station. We're honored Speedway considered Batavia, but I would ask them to care about the safety of the children and adults in our area, to be a good neighbor to our residential areas, and even more to look elsewhere in town for a better location like the corner of Kirk and Fabian Parkway. Kirk and Wilson seems like a real bad location. When you vote, please remember the image of the elementary-age child trying to run across Kirk Road for a treat. and the traffic that they will encounter. Likewise, please remember where you live in Batavia, and how would you feel if a 24-hour gas station was allowed to open in your residential neighborhood? I ask the members of the Batavia City Council to vote to support the safety of the people of our area of town and keep our residential areas residential by voting no to the Speedway gas station at the corner of Kirk and Wilson. Thank you.
Anybody else wish to address the city council? Could you give us your name and address for the clerk, please, for the record?
Christian Kolashevsky, Corporate Design Development Group, 2675 Pradham Avenue, Hoffman Estates, Illinois.
My name's Richard Yost, 8200 West 185th Street, Tinley Park, Illinois.
One of the items that I'd like to bring up this evening is just if you take a look at the aerial of this facility, we are bound by a very large industrial building to our west, to our east. We are bound by railroad tracks to the north. We are bound by industrial going on both sides of Kirk as you further go to the north. Why isn't there a Speedway gas station right by your Memorial Park? Because that's right in a residential area. Streets are smaller, Speedway is lower. Here at Kirk and Wilson, the traffic counts are there in terms of the number of cars. The speed of the road clearly shows that it is a major thoroughfare. It is not a small residential street. Then also, the neighborhood area, as you call it, is very transitional there for our lot. What do I mean by that? Right adjacent to us, we have the industrial building. As I said, to the north, we have the railroad. And the transitional zoning that's usually tried to accomplish is a buffer between harder elements and residential elements. You see the multi-residential along the tracks there. We are an excellent transitional zoning use for that corner. Why? Because we do not generate new traffic. We use existing traffic on the roadway. That's how Speedway goes about to see what sites are successful. And by doing that, the traffic count that's there today, not 10 years from now, not a year from now, today, warrants the type of use that's being proposed. We are all about convenience. We are all about safety. We talked about the details of the LED lighting, the forward throw, the cutoffs, the no glare. This is a good site for this use because it's an excellent site for a transitional type zoning element.
I can answer any questions that you might have about any of the points that were brought up, specifically on why we chose this site. And oftentimes, a lot of objections that we do get at many city council meetings is there's a better site somewhere else out there that we could use, and we don't disagree that there's always potential sites, specifically on the corner that was mentioned before, I think Fabian and Kirk. We have looked at those sites. I think we've looked at quite a few sites in Batavia and surrounding communities. Those sites, in my opinion, wouldn't be very viable for our use, primarily because of access. When you're on a very busy intersection such as those, you would be limited to probably right in, right out on both, so you'd only be capturing about half the traffic. What's attractive about this site is it's a lighted intersection with a full access point that we will be able to use going eastward on Wilson. That really doesn't carry any traffic eastbound, and so we found that as an attractive attribute of this site. We also look for a nice mix of commercial, high traffic, and residential to be successful in this business, and we find that this site brings those attributes as well. But we can answer any questions as it relates to the operation or anything else any of you might have. Okay, thank you.
One question. One question. Will you be open 24 hours?
Yes.
And why is that?
It's part of our business model. As you know, we're a 24/7, basically this whole area, there's people that work 24/7, so we're there for their convenient needs. It's somewhat of a slow period for us, but we like to be there if somebody's working a third shift, that they can get gas at any time at night, or buy convenience items inside the convenience store. We also take advantage of that time where our employees prep the store for the next day. Our busiest time is in the Chicagoland market is generally about between 5 and 6 a.m. for that morning rush of people going to work to serve the commuters. And so the 24-hour model works well for us. It helps us prep the store for the next day.
Comments or questions? Alderman Ajak?
I have a question for Scott, I think. For Scott, I'm not sure. Can you talk a little bit more about the crosswalks, where the crosswalks will be and the lights at that corner? Because it is a concern. It's a tricky intersection.
Right. There's essentially going to be two crosswalks. There's one that's going to be crossing Wilson on the west side of Kirk, and then there will be another crosswalk on the north side of Wilson, crossing Wilson, Kirk Road. As part of the improvements that Kane County is requiring, they have to put in pedestrian signal improvements to both of those walks. They need to have pedestrian actuated signals to allow pedestrians to cross on both of those sides. So there would be a safe way for pedestrians to cross both of those streets to get either to or from the facility itself.
Thank you.
Scott, will they have any advanced warning signals? Like Mr. Brichter had said that when you're heading north, you got a hill, and all of a sudden at the bottom of the hill will be the speedway and the crosswalk. So anything on the south side of that hill, will there be any kind of an advanced warning, like light ahead, pedestrian traffic ahead?
Well, that intersection is maintained by Kane County, so if there's some safety concerns they have, I would guess that they would require that or install it themselves, just like they did on Randall Road and Caneville Road. But there will, based on what the latest technology has been for the pedestrian signals, there'll probably be countdown pedestrian signals, so the pedestrians will know exactly how much time they have to cross the roads. So that should be, improving the safety in that standpoint.
Will we have any input, though, just to ensure it? I mean, it took an act of Congress on our part just to get those, not the pork chops, up on Chillum and on Geesey for all the accidents, and I just would not want to have to wait for Kane County to finally come to realization that's a dangerous intersection. You know what I'm speaking of? I mean, there were so many accidents before we got those medians put in. I don't want to wait for, as Mr. Brichter said, or anyone, for a child to get hit by a car, say, we should maybe react now. Let's
Right.
be more proactive, perhaps. I mean, if there's anything we can do, if this comes to fruition, is there anything we can do to say to the county, we need to protect our residents?
Right. Yeah, we've been in active discussions with Kane County about all the improvements that they are requiring as part of this project. We can certainly bring that issue up to them to make sure that they, any concerns they have would be addressed. One of the things that they are requiring is some signal improvements. So maybe the mast arm signals will be a bit more visible above the hill, depending on how that's all engineered. But we can definitely talk to them about that to make sure that they're understanding that concern.
Alderman Callahan?
I would just like to say the analogy of crosswalks with children going in and out of that neighborhood with it being built does resonate with me, since I have two 6-year-old adventurous boys. With that in mind, though, they are just as adventurous about going into the woods across the street. So if they were to do that, I would like to have the opportunity to improve that intersection, which would be better for the community. So if I am, in my mind, envisioning it for the children, we have an opportunity to make an intersection that we know is a problem better, and thereby making it safe for anybody to cross that street, no matter what the intent is.
Any questions from anybody else?
One last, with lighting, say after 10 o'clock, is there anything you're doing with lighting? I know you're saying that you have LED lights that are going to be shining down. It won't be disrupting the neighborhood to the west, but
With the
And you
types
can-
of lights that we have, the photometrics show that the foot candles are much lower than what you're maybe all used to for, when this was blonde, the foot candles that we used to have on gas stations were around 100-foot candles. We're now at the maximum at about 50-foot candles under the canopy only, and we're only about 15 at the drives. But we can't go much darker, we can't go darker because this is a task-orientated environment where people are pulling up to the pumps. So we need the 50 at the pumps, we need the 15 in the yards. But again, they're controlled, they're directed, and they're very focused with the LED. They're not metal halides, they're not going in a horizontal fashion. And so the lighting level is based on safety.
Having worked around the lights and canopies for 30 years, I can tell you the differences today compared to what was there before is completely different. And a real good case in point is sometime late at night, drive out along Randall Road and look at the stations that are out there. It's a tower of light that comes straight down out of those lights. It doesn't go anywhere else. Fast food chain next to it before they turn their lights off, such as the ones we have on McKee Street. I won't name names, but there's more lights off of that building than there are off of the gas station next to it. It is really a focused drop-down lighting setup.
Other comments or questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we have a motion and second on the floor for the approval of ordinance 14-41. Any further discussion? Clerk, call the roll.
Sparks?
Aye.
O'Brien?
aye.
Callahan?
Aye.
Homan?
Aye.
Sam?
Aye.
Vasilian?
Aye.
Saron?
Aye.
McFadden?
Aye.
Brown?
Aye.
Clark? Atack?
Aye.
Stark?
Aye.
Chanzit? Wolf?
Aye.
14 yes, no nos. Okay, motion's approved. All right, moving then to 13, which is ordinance 14-49, annexing properties along South Harrison Street, Walnut Street, and Main Street. Alderman Brown?
Yeah, this is for the annexation of the properties that we had the public hearing about at the very beginning of the meeting. I don't really have anything else to say about it, so I move for approval of ordinance 14-49.
Second.
Moved by Alderman Brown, second by Alderman Wolf for the approval of ordinance 14-49, annexing the properties along South Harrison Street, Walnut Street, and Main Street. Any discussion? Clerk, call the roll.
Brown?
Aye.
Clark?
Aye.
Atack?
Aye.
Stark?
Aye.
Chanzit? Wolf?
Aye.
Sparks?
Aye.
O'Brien?
Aye.
Callahan?
Aye.
Homan?
Aye.
Sam?
Aye.
Vasilian?
Aye.
Saron?
Aye.
McFadden?
Aye.
Motion's approved, 14 yes, no nos, none absent. All right, moving then to item number 14, which is Resolution 14-103-R, Downtown Improvement Grant with inclusion of reimbursement for occupancy permit. Alderman Brown, do you, or Sparks, do you have this?
Yes. Thank you, Your Honor. Chris Aniston, the Economic Development Consultant, brought forth a improvement grant to the council for 4 East Wilson, a property owned by Bobby Gunter. Right now, there is a fire alarm panel within the building, but it is an older model, and in order to do any new fancy things with this building, bring in some retail and everything, they need to update the panel, and you can't update this old panel. So what they're proposing is to put a new panel in with all the horn, strobe, smoke detectors, pull stations, and whatever they need to finish out the panel at a price of $7,285. Mr. Gunter is requesting funding in the amount of 50% of the total cost, or $3,642.50 from the city TIF downtown grant program. There's sufficient money in the grant program for this. It was discussed in the last JCOW, and we brought forth one stipulation that the money, we approved it for $3,642.50 with the exception that in order to pay this out, the property has to have a occupancy permit issued for the commercial use at the Wilson Street level, the commercial floor there. With that said, I make a motion that we accept the application for Downtown Improvement Grant, Resolution 14-103-R. For
Moved by Alderman Sparks, second by Alderman McFadden for the approval of Resolution 14-103-R. Any discussion? Clerk call the roll.
Sparks?
Aye.
O'Brien?
Aye.
Callahan? Homan?
Aye.
Sam?
Aye.
Vasilian? Cerrone?
Aye.
McFadden?
Aye.
Brown?
Aye.
Clark? Atak?
Aye.
Stark?
Aye.
Transit? Wolf?
Aye.
Resolution 14-103-R is approved, 14 yes, no nos, none absent. Okay, moving to item number 15, which is approval of Class F liquor license for Peapod Half Marathon. Alderman Sparks, do you have this?
Thank you, Your Honor. This is a liquor license for, the applicant is Multisport Madness, who is running the Peapod Half Marathon. The police has conducted an investigation and a background check, determined that there's no problems with the applicant and everything should run smoothly, so I move that we pass a liquor license for the Peapod Half Marathon for, well, it's for a Class F one-day temporary liquor license.
Now I
Sorry.
second.
Moved by Alderman Sparks, second by Alderman Stark for the approval of the Class F liquor license for the Peapod Half Marathon. Any discussion? Clerk call the roll.
Sparks?
Aye.
O'Brien?
Aye.
Callahan?
Aye.
Homan?
Aye.
Sam?
Aye.
Vasilian?
Aye.
Cerrone?
Aye.
McFadden?
Aye.
Brown?
Aye.
Clark?
Aye.
Atak?
Aye.
Stark?
Aye.
Transit? Wolf?
Aye.
Motion's approved, 14 yes, no nos, none absent. Item 16, the administrator's report. Mr. McGrath, please.
Thanks, Mayor. We've been reviewing, or Chris Asen has been looking at upgrading our web presence for economic development. He's been working on a project to update and make sure that all our available properties in the city are on the website and accurate. He's been communicating with brokers and owners to verify certain information. We're going to try, we looked at having this done by outside contracting. We think it's too expensive. We're going to try and do this in-house and work with another one of our administrative staff. So we'll keep you informed, let you know when that's on the website, and we'll be monitoring that to make sure that we're keeping up the information accurately. He's also attending the Main Street Strategic Planning meeting tomorrow. He's our representative on the Main Street group. The subcontractors for the crosswalk project has been chosen by IDOT and approved under our local agency agreement. We'll let you know when there's going to be a pre-construction conference and when that we actually expect construction to begin. There's a pre-construction meeting on Tanglewood 5 this week. There are some issues with detention that they're continuing to try and work out. We think that we've heard that there may be some progress on the Walgreens project, and so I expect to have some news in the next couple of weeks. The project is in front of you in the first week of September to on their request for another extension of the project agreement. The car wash project at the BP Amoco on Randall Road has started. There's been some demolition there. The street bid, the opening of the bids for the street program will be on will be tomorrow. We have 3 bidders who have picked up packets so far. We've got a kickoff meeting. Engineering has a kickoff meeting this week for the Main Street engineering. Right now, they're first off looking at drainage, and there's also a kickoff meeting for the roundabout stoplight at the Deer Path
Main Street intersection that's coming up. There was a project that had been seeking state tax credits related to a proposal to construct some senior housing behind the Walmart. The developers of that project did not receive their state tax credits. It's very competitive, and so that project is not going to be proposed at this time. A brush pickup schedule. The west side, there was a pickup that started today. Because our contractors can move through the different sides of town so rapidly, you can't really put anything else out on your block unless you can see that your block has not been serviced thus far. And it has been. If it has been thus far, then you need to keep it for the West Siders, and the next pickup date is September 15th, followed by October 20th, and then the citywide pickup is December 1st. Brush pickup for the east side is September 8th, October 13th, and then the December 1st citywide pickup. We've had a couple of inquiries about coyotes. We do have some information, a link about the coyote information on the front page of our website. And this time of the year is when the Public Works Department does its fall parkway tree sharing program, where a homeowner can split the cost of a new tree with the city and have it planted in their front parkway. The details are all on the website. Though the homeowner share ranges between about $120 and $150 for a 2.5-inch tree. All of our tree species have been grown in the area and are designed to, or chosen because of their ability to withstand our climate in the winters. This year, they're also offering a more economical way to reforest kind of the city. And they'll be selling 15-gallon container trees, which are certainly much smaller, but it's a way that people can start planting trees in the parkways, and that the 50% share of that is $45. But as I said, the details are on the front page of the website. Right now, we're reviewing all the applications for website development. We're reviewing the Assistant City Administrator applications. The filing deadline was on Friday. We have approximately 30 apps. I didn't see what came in actually on Friday. I was out of town. So we'll be starting that process and hope to be moving forward with that certainly in the next 30 days. So that's all I have.
Any questions of the administrator? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, committee reports. Community Development, Alderman Brown.
Just a few meetings to announce tonight, Your Honor. Tomorrow night's J-Cow starts at 7:30. That's Tuesday, August 19th. A couple items CDC has on there is the South Batavia Avenue parking lot easement, which is the whole lot behind the lot between First Street and Main Street on the west side of the road. There's one area in there that we're discussing tomorrow night. Limestone Drive name change. This is in Tanglewood, Unit 5. This is some clarity on some name change for a street out there. And then Houston Street status is what's on CDC tomorrow night. Plan Commission has been canceled for Wednesday, August 20th, and Historic Preservation is scheduled for August 25th at 5:30. I don't know what's on their agenda at this time, but there is a meeting scheduled. The only other thing I want to talk about tonight, just for a moment, Your Honor, is the building report for July came out. And last year at this time, there was $11,873,000 spent in construction dollars in the city of Batavia. This year, year-to-date, so the same time frame, it's $17,600,000 of construction dollars spent. So it's up significantly from what it was last year, so that's a good thing to share. That's all I have.
Public Utilities, Alderman Clark.
The only thing I have to report is on the August 26th meeting, there's 2 items on the agenda regarding public utilities. It's surplus transformers and Science Bridge sculpture is listed, but I don't think that's technically public utilities. Other than that, I have nothing else to report. Thank you.
City Services, Alderman Wolf.
Thank you, Your Honor. Tomorrow night at the JCOW, we have sidewalk and curb program contracts to discuss. And that's all I have.
Government Services, Alderman Sparks.
Thank you, Your Honor. There is nothing for the next two meetings for government service as of yet.
All right, moving then to other business. Does anybody in the council have any other business? Alderman Wolf?
Two things. First off, as Jim Dillenberg stated earlier, the first home football game will be in 2 weeks on August 29th. Sophomore game starts at 5:30 and the varsity game at 7:30. Also, this Friday, the 22nd, at 5 p.m. out at the high school is the corn boil. So good way to kick off the go back to school week and come out to the corn boil.
What's the time?
5 p.m.
Till what time?
5 to probably to 8. Get a chance to get a quick look at the football team and all the other sports that'll be out there.
I don't know how we did this on the agenda, but somehow we stuck the executive session in before the mayor's report. So if you don't have any problem with it, I'd like to do the mayor's report. Or you have, I know you got one other thing, but I'm just talking here under other business before we. Alderman Sparks, you have one more thing.
Yes, as some of you know, our house was for sale and it did sell. So it's kind of great sadness that I got to say there'll be no more Blue Stem Christmas walk at Christmas time. I did sell the entire display to one of the Batavia firemen who lives in Elburn, so hopefully he'll carry on the tradition. We have bought a house out of our ward, actually in North Aurora, so as of tonight, I'll be stepping down from the council. This will be my last meeting. If in Prairie Commons it is developed as residential, all I ask is they name a street for me out there. But this will be my last meeting. Thank you, Your Honor.
Well, we have to have you back at some point because we have give you a proclamation and do some other stuff, so.
Cake.
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 So it's certainly with great dismay that this has happened. I told Alderman Sparks, as he's been just sharing this with me for the last couple of weeks, that I'm greatly dismayed that because of the circumstances, he has to resign. I know he tried diligently to find a house in his ward to stay, but that just wasn't to be found at the moment. And so he's moving to North Aurora, and has regret that North Aurora's gain is Batavia's loss. And just thank you, Gary, for all you've done here in the years you've been here. You've been a very hardworking, contributing team player who I think has certainly worked to the best interests specifically of your ward and more greatly on behalf of Batavia, and done a lot of extra things unbeknownst to a lot of people for services you've done to try to make sure the government runs smoothly and fairly, and everybody had a voice to be heard in your ward. And so I appreciate everything you've done in the time that you've been serving us here. So it's with a great degree, I'm sure this is shared by all the members of the council, that we are going to regret having to approve. I guess you'll send us a letter at the next meeting I can read that you've resigned, and I just wanted to let everybody in the council, I know will be regretful to have to vote on that letter, but that's the way it's going to be.
Yeah, that's going to take action on the city council, right?
Right.
I'm going to vote no.
Well, when he does physically live in the ward, I don't know what more you
can
it can be a symbolic gesture of appreciation, but we will onward and upward. The word apparently is leaked out in your ward that you've gone, because I already today got my first call from somebody that wanted to put their name on the list of potential applicants. And I think, as we always do with these, we put it out and ask resident. You have to be a resident of the ward. You have to be a registered voter, have lived there for, I guess it's a year.
I think it's a year.
And you have to, obviously, meet all the criteria of an elected official. And what we will then do is, once we get all the applicants, we will invite them down here, probably maybe at a JCAL meeting, and let all the aldermen sit here and listen to a presentation by each applicant, and then you would have the opportunity to ask them any questions that you may have of them or whatever. And we certainly would invite residents of the ward to come and sit in the audience and listen to the discussions. And then after you hear the presentations, maybe they can offer you any insights that they want to on a one-on-one basis as to who they liked or didn't like or whatever have you. And then what we will do is at the next meeting, when we finally have this meeting, we will have an executive session in which we will ask you all to vote on who you would like to have as Gary's replacement. And the one that gets the most votes is the one that gets the appointment. And that's several of you who've have been through that previously. And I think it's been a good system, and it has worked. It's some cities, if I wanted to, I could grab this for myself and the mayor would make the decision. I've never thought that was the best way to do it. I wanted it to be a joint decision by the aldermen, because you are the ones that are going to work with the individual once they are appointed. And I think it's only fair that you have some input into who's going to be chosen to sit there. And this person then would only serve until the next regular election. I don't know if this will.
Yeah, it will be April 15, 2015.
This side is,
Okay, yeah, right. Okay, yeah, there's enough time here, because we haven't even begun that petition process or anything. So it'll be a short-lived term. It won't be very long. And then they would run for the well, you would be a four-year.
It would be a 4-year seat, because his
Yeah,
seat's up.
'cause my seat expires.
Seats up. So he would then, whoever gets appointed, I assume, would want to think about running, but if they didn't, then there would be an election for Gary's seat. Everybody on this side of the room would run next year. So that, in a nutshell, is kind of the politics of the thing. If you know of somebody good in the first ward that you think would be a good possible candidate, encourage them to make an application, and we would invite them to come down here and join in the process as to how it would go forth. I assume it'll be a few weeks before we'll get that, because we got to get his resignation and act on that, and then put it out and give, normally, I think we've given like maybe 3 weeks or a month, or let everybody kind of chew on it and talk to each other, and then put together their application and come down, and then once we get the interview over with, we appoint the person or elect the person at the next meeting. So that would, once we start, it'll move pretty quickly, but that's the way it's done. All right, and let me just quickly go to the mayor's report before we go into executive session. The only thing I really wanted to share with you is that this coming Saturday, and Saturdays are really becoming quite an action-packed experience in downtown Batavia, but this next Saturday on the 23rd, we're going to do a couple ribbon cuttings, one after another. And the first one is going to be at 12 p.m., and that's going to be at the new to be opened Acosta Furniture Store, which is in the old Hubbard's Furniture Store at 16 North Batavia Avenue. And that's going to be at 12 p.m. on Saturday. And then following that, at 1 p.m., we're going to have a ribbon cutting over at Music Matters new building at the corner of 24 North Washington Avenue at the corner of Washington and State in the old Louise White School. And I know some of us have been there previously, but if you haven't been there, I'd like to encourage the members of the council to come over and see the building, because the Matter family, in my opinion, has done just a phenomenal job of renovation and restoration of that building. It's really neat to see what's going on in there. And there's several different things happening. The Matters have a private business that's headquartered in there. And there's also a school that the sons run that is got music practice rooms and other facilities for teaching music on a variety of fronts. So it's really quite an active place, and I think you'd enjoy seeing it. We're going to do that ribbon cutting at 1 and Acosta's at 12, so that's the schedule. And as many of you as can join me on Saturday for those two, I'd appreciate it. It's just good to see members of the council at these things. And if you're down for the farmer's market, come late and stay, so you can go with me to these other two events.
12 o'clock, the furniture store.
Pardon?
Right? The furniture store is 12 o'clock? Which one's at 12 o'clock?
The furniture store is at 12 and Matters is at 1. And it's the Chamber of Commerce is kind of, they do the ribbon cuttings in the downtown normally, and Main Street will probably be there too, so it'll be an interesting experience, but they will all be there, so.
Do you know if Music Matters is going to be open after that for the public? There's a lot of people that want to see.
I think that's kind of the idea, as I understand it.
I think Jeff had it listed as an open house after the ribbon cutting. So I thought what he had listed.
It'll be packed.
All right, I would entertain a motion for executive session for the purposes of discussing purchase and sale of electricity and probable litigation.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Alderman Stark, second by Alderman Callahan. Clerk, call the roll.
Clark.
Aye.
Atack.
Aye.
Stark. Aye. Chanzit. Aye. Wolf.
Aye.
Sparks.
No.
O'Brien.
Aye.
Callahan.
Aye.
Homan.
Aye.
Sam.
Aye.
Facilian.
Aye.
Saron.
Aye.
McFadden.
Aye.
Brown.
That was 13 yes, 1 no, and none absent. Okay, we'll take a minute or two to change the tapes.